It's the Jeff Foxx Show.
It's the Jeff Foxx Show. The Jeff Foxx Show.
How you doing, everybody? It's Jeff Foxx, and this is the Jeff Foxx Radio Show online, and we always like to introduce you to interesting artists, folks out there doing some wonderful things. That's what the whole show is all about, and right now I have a young man that's doing a lot of different things. He has a wonderful story. He goes by the name of JorgeEstradaDC.
Yes, exactly. And my artistic entity is Mutatio Formulae.
And what's that mean?
That's root Latin for mutation formula.
And what's that mean?
Mutation formula means fact-driven, fact-based society and culture instead of the mess that we're in right now.
We're in a mess right now, right?
Oh, it's obvious. I think it's apparent, yes.
And artistically, where are you coming from as an artist?
Perhaps the first ever rock pop singer, songwriter, producer, social scientist, and rapper to be interviewed by, the wonderful, legendary Jeff Foxx right now, right here.
What's a social scientist? What is that?
That is someone that can take all that isn't being said, all that's quite visible and apparent to everyone or to a lot of people. It's someone that can see through it all and break it down in an articulate manner, but also in layman's language so that everyone can understand. He or she is a problem solver. They're not driven by philosophy, ideology, politics, race, and religion. They're driven by facts. What's right, what's just, what's noble, what's honorable, and by what's factual.
And all this information, you apply it to music, you apply it to poetry. How do you apply it?
Okay, this is the deal. Okay. Number one, I'm from D.C., so I got to represent my city, D.C. I want to send you some love. Number two, I amassed, as a single father, with hardly any extra time or money to spare, no car, on foot, by bus and metro, I single-handedly, in one of the most politicized parts of the entire country, if not the most politicized, one of the most expensive areas ever, I went ahead and amassed a super epic, legendary, unprecedented recording team roster for my music album debut to be. We're talking 20 to 25 musicians, mostly from DC, who are mostly legendary, and they have played with a totality of over 140 plus. 140 plus.
Is this some music that you've written?
Yes, it is.
Are you a singer? Or?
I'm a singer, songwriter, and producer. And
a musician as well?
Well, I would call myself more of a singer and songwriter and a social scientist than I would a musician.
Okay.
Because I always keep it 100%. But I would like to state that my recording team roster has played with over 140 music superstars, icons, and moguls who have sold. I actually went to Wikipedia one by one of all the artists they've played with, and the total is over 4 billion records sold. So
these are the folks that are working with you.
These are the folks that will be working with me. I'd like to share name a few.
Go ahead.
Robert Mousy Thompson was the personal drummer of the late Godfather's soul, James Brown, for 15 years. He was also a midnight mover and drummer for Wilson Pickett for 10. The guitar player, Julian Jr. Marvin, was the lead guitarist for Bob Marley and the Wailers. I have several basses. One of my basses was a bassist and producer for the Godfather rap Gil Scott Heron. He was also, I have another bassist that was that worked with Quincy Jones, and I have another guitarist. I have a keyboardist and sax player who works with Aretha Franklin. He's worked with the OJs, the Spinners, and the Temptations. I have another keyboard player who has offered to produce my material from D.C. He was Natalie Cole's keyboardist. May she rest in peace. God bless her soul. I met Natalie Cole when I was a teenager through my father. She was at a hotel in D.C., and what a beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
I mean, gorgeous in person. So
tell me about your project. What's the name of it?
Okay. Well, I have an album that's going to come out and a single. I have a title. I'm very hush about the title.
Still work. It's a working title.
No, I have the title, but I don't want to share it till it's out.
Till it's time to drop.
But I got a lot going on. I mean, that's on the music front. You know what I'm saying? It's like even one of Biggie Small's former producers, he also said to me, he made me an offer. Chucky Thompson did Big Papa. He did several cuts off of Ready to Die. He also did Got a Story to Tell off of Life After Death. I mean, what's crazy about my team, they worked with the king of rap, the king of pop, the godfather of soul, the godfather of rap, the queen of soul. I mean, it's unbelievable. The king of reggae. One of my sax players who's going to work with me, Charlie Rhythm Lewis, played with Ike Turner. He played with Buddy Guy. What's crazy about my story is that I am surrounded by legendary musicians and people who have worked with every genre of music. Just before I got here, I just met up with the author of the most highly acclaimed book on the behind the scenes of the Kings of Glam Rock, Kiss. And I'm hanging out with her later tonight. And I mean, she knows Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin. And I mean,
seems like you like to be around the creative people that have, and these folks have inspired you.
They've inspired me. Everyone from Zeppelin to Biggie to Kiss to Michael.
Give me a topic of one of your pieces that you're working on, and maybe you can give me an example how it sounds.
I find this society and culture to be completely out of its mind on a lot of levels. Okay? Whether it's guns, drugs, whether it's, why all the guns, why all the bombs, why nuclear weaponry, why? We could go on with why. But just the obsession with race and the obsession with describing as this and that and belonging to this group and that group and just the continuous division, just the obsession with genocide and homicide and suicide and violence, and it goes on and on and on. People always say keep it real, but it's got to get factual, man. You got
an example of a
well,
piece that you're working on lyrically? You got a poem?
I do have something here actually.
What you got?
Okay, so I got a thing here called I Can't Help But Laugh and Smile.
Okay.
Every day I stare out this massive high window of mine, and I gaze with the stars in my eyes at this greatest civilization in time that is mine, planted and placed on top eternally on this planet of ours and this nation state so wretched and encrazed. And it touches the very blood that flows through me, and you know that I do mean that sincerely. And from here all I can do is smile and laugh, with the sun beaming down and shining upon my crown, at all the time, money, energy, at all the blood, mind, and souls wasted to perpetuate this false sense of self in a world that has come to an end. It's about time that they stop lying to their kids. And I can't help but laugh and smile when I see my letters in alphabetical order. Architecture, city streets and bridges. Everywhere I go, from side to side, I'm surrounded by all that my ancestors laid down thousands of years ago, along with my fields of discipline and studies. No matter where I'm at, no matter what I do, I can't help but laugh and smile. And it makes me laugh how they always talk about the West and democracy, but deep down in the back, they simply want to avenge, outdo and rid that which is impossible, implausible, and that which can only be defeated if the earth were to literally implode.
Lyrics are deep.
Thank you, man.
I can tell your music will have substance and will have a point of view. You march to your own drummer,
right,
and you speak it, your own truth,
right,
and as an artist, that's the only way to be.
My music, and also there's my book. I'm also...
So you're writing as well?
Yes, I'm writing as well. I have.
That's what you do. You do it all.
I do.
You cover it all. How do folks get in contact with you?
Okay, excellent. They can go to various links of mine. Number one, you can on Facebook, MFJESTRADA, MFJ Estrada on Facebook. Again, MFJESTRADA. Also, you can go to my official YouTube video channel, which is JorgeEstradaDC, which is JORGE, last name ESTRADA. DC, like Washington D.C, but instead Jorge Estrada DC, because honestly, I'm not into arrogance, but I'm into keeping it factual and being honest. And the way I conquered my city is it's unheard of. I've never seen one guy with such a lack of resources to do what he did. in such a politicized area,
Right.
with so much everything so expensive and so heavily outnumbered, and to have the entire world around him backing his music and everything. I mean, it's unprecedented. It's unparalleled. I'm gonna say this on the record right now, because I did it all by foot from scratch 15 years ago. There were 2 to 3 years where I was inactive. I don't know if anyone's ever going to repeat or outdo what I did. If you're going to do what I did by foot, by bus and metro and foot for 12 to 15 years, and always with just enough cash, I mean, good luck. I don't see it happening again. I don't ever see it happening in the United States of America. I don't see it happening anywhere on planet Earth, to be quite frank with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's just a sample of a very, very interesting person, and that's what makes my show so one of a kind. It's JorgeEstradaDC. He's got a whole lot more to say. You got to follow him and follow his music and everything he's going to be doing in the future, because you're going to be around.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, Jeff.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at this guy. I want you to follow him. He's different, but he's telling the truth, and that's what we're looking for these days, that's for sure. It's JorgeEstradaDC, a.k.a.
Mutatio Formulae. Mutatio, M-U-T-A-T-I-O. First word, second word, Formulae, Formulae. It's simply root Latin, which is the language of the West, and it just means mutation formula. So basically, in a nutshell, taking all the bad, all the insane, wicked, ugly, crazy, dishonest stuff, turning it inside out, upside down, and getting everything nice and streamlined. That's what that's all about.
Today on the Jeff Foxx Radio Show online.
The Jeff Foxx Show.